The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday at FRC Media. And every Wednesday, we spend a few moments with the mayor of the City of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us now from Government Center. Mayor, how are you this week?
I'm doing okay, Keith. What's going on?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Just a couple of quick updates for the week. It was recently announced that the city's veteran service agent, Michelle Hamilton, who's been on the job for a little over a year, unfortunately found a different position and is leaving the employ of the City of Fall River. Seems she had a very positive impact while she was in the city. Talk a little bit about her impact and what are plans for her replacement and how that process will move forward.
Yeah, Michelle did a great job for the city of Fall River. She just had an opportunity. I think she's going to Foxborough. It's a substantial pay increase. So obviously we wish her well. While she was here, she did a great job. She brought a lot of those groups together. It seemed like, she had gained their respect. They worked hard on a lot of the veterans issues that we had and a lot of the events. And she brought a great amount of energy to the position. So we'll miss her. We wish her well. And we've already got some applicants in that are very strong resumes. There's a little panel we're putting together to start to screen those applications to see what's out there. And hopefully we find someone that does the same kind of job that Michelle did and with the same amount of enthusiasm.
You know, you mentioned that she is moving on to the town of Foxborough to do the same position at an increased wage. And again, you can't fault anyone for getting an increase in their wages. Are there any plans to maybe reevaluate the salary of the Fall River position, and could that impact people who may apply?
Well, there is some talk about moving it to a for-contract position, which takes it out of the ordinance, the cap on it. I think that's something we'd like to do with a number of jobs. I had talked to Seth about that, taking the ones out that we think would make us more competitive to get a better quality candidate. Obviously, when she came, she was under the ordinance restrictions. She had never been a VSO before, so we brought her in at a salary that we thought was fair at the time. But there is such a shortage of those people around the state that when she got all of her certifications and got herself to a position, a better opportunity came along and off she went.
Yeah. I need to bring up in about a month, it'll be Memorial Day, which is a very, very big holiday here in Fall River. A lot of events that are taking place. And, Michelle was heavily involved in those plannings. Are things set for this year? And will there be any concerns in terms of, planning for next month, Memorial Day?
No, that was one of the things she was worried about before she left, and she put all the ducks in a row for those events on Memorial Day. So that obviously will continue as planned for this year, and then going forward, hopefully, if we get someone on board that's conscientious and knows what they're doing, we'll have them hand off, and they can do the Memorial Day in 25. So I mean, we're ready to go with 24, and I think we'll be fine. And then we'll look to what we can do to improve it, modify it, whatever, going forward into 25. But we're ready for 24.
All right. Next item on the list, looking for an update on the Bank Street Armory. Of course, the city had a proposal last year to convert the Armory to a mix of market rate and affordable housing units. The city council voted against that plan and voted to come up with ideas on how maybe the city can save that building for its own use. I know there's a lot of money that needs to be put into it to make the requisite repairs. Last week, the city council committee held a hearing on potentially having the Historical Commission work in conjunction with the Preservation Society on coming up with plans for the Armory. What are your thoughts about that project and whether that could lend some potential uses for the building?
This is what happens in cities. So the Historical Commission was not keen on the proposal that was put forward by Mr. McCumbers. So the simple charge we gave them going forward was to identify where we could find money to do something different. we had a meeting here with Jason Naraki and Alex. They seem like they're two active members of the historical commission, and their mission was to bring forward, people say, well, you do it with a grant. Okay, but there's got to be a place the grant comes from. Is it a state grant? Is it a federal grant? Is it a local grant? Where does the money come from? So we asked them to identify some spots where we could find this money. We have not heard anything yet. We explained that yesterday to Jason. He was going to talk to the city grant writer, but there's been no money identified that can help the Armory in its present situation. We did have some money left over that has allowed us, if you notice, if you go by where the bricks were falling on the side and the window was out, we've replaced those things. So we are buttoning up the building, but that's where we stand right now until we find out where the funding is coming from. Because as you said, it's a significant amount of money. So we did button it up. We'll go forward. If it needs something else, we'll address it. But we're going to see what the public or what the historical commission come up with for sources to fund the repairs of that building. It is a big amount of money, and the grants that were given to us come nowhere near anything relative to fixing up the first floor, for God's sakes.
Yeah. So let me ask you, is there a timeline you have in mind in terms of potentially needing to move forward again to either, relook at Mr. McCumber's plans, get other plans in there? Because, we don't want it to go the way of the police station, right?
Well, it's been a year out now. I mean, we're 1 year into this. And again, no one's identified any sources. They've thrown out words about grants or this and that. But again, I told him yesterday, I said, so you say, let's get a grant. Well, I want to hear the word, there's a Raytheon grant, or there's a Amazon grant that's $10 million. Here's what we got to do to get it. I'm not saying they have to get the grant. I just want to know where the money is to look for. And I can find, and our grant person, Jasmine, cannot find anything that would significantly put an impact in the bill for the Armory. I think we identified $120,000 that's out there, but like I said, that's not going to get the front door done.
Yeah, definitely needs. I believe the estimate is between $10 and $12 million, right, to rehab that building to bring it up to snuff. Finally, this week I want to talk a little bit. We're getting toward the end of fiscal year 2024, and I know that your administration made a presentation to the City Council a few weeks back. When can officially the fiscal year 25 budget expect to land before the City Council?
We'll have it. We'll have it in. I mean, our deadlines I think is in June, but we'll have it before then. I mean, we're in very good shape. We've met with all the department heads. Bridget and the crew down there have done a good job of, organizing the budget, making sure that the revenues match the expenditures, and that's the main focus of the whole thing. You bring all the departments together, all the personnel, all the numbers that are related to salaries, costs, items, and then where's the revenue to cover those things, and you make a budget. And she's been grinding away down there. I talked to her. I talked to the auditor. They all seem pretty confident that the budget's in good shape. And in due course, we'll get it down to the council where they can, bring the department heads down they want to talk to, see where we're going, and hopefully we'll have a budget done for this year.
All right. As mayor, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Thank you for joining me.
Okay, Keith. Thank you.
All right. And as always, thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. Have a great week.